Good morning, my students. This is Zina Sheikh. Today in this video lecture we want to define novel and we want to discuss different important elements of novel. So let's start with meaning of novel. The origin of novel writing lies in the art of medieval romance. Medieval romance comes from the word medieval, which is related to Middle Age in Europe. And romance refers to a tale of love and adventure. Okay? So, thus, medieval romance is about the story of love and adventure that was popular during the time of Middle Age. In 1350, Boccaccio, a famous Italian writer of his time, wrote a collection of short stories in prose that was entitled Decameron. Such stories in Italian language are known as novella. The term novella originally means a fresh story which is shorter than a novel. Let's study definitions of novel. According to Webster Dictionary, a novel is defined as an invented prose narrative that is usually long and complex and deals especially with human experience through a usually connected sequence of events. According to Henry James, the only reason for the existence of a novel is that it does attempt to represent life. Okay, a novel is a long fictional narrative that describes imaginary characters and events. Typically written in a prose, a novel explores a range of human experiences, emotions, and social situations, often developing complex plot and characterizations over the course of its narrative. Now, unlike shorter forms of fiction like short stories, a novel provides more extensive detail and depth, often divided into chapters and sections. It is one of the most popular forms of literary expression and can encompass various genres such as romance, science fiction, fantasy, historical fiction, and more. In this way, we may say that novel is a newly invented form of English literature which narrates an imaginary story. It deals with real characters and events and are represented in a complex plot. Here we have the main elements of novel. Okay, we have a plot, setting, character, conflict, theme, and style, and we have dialogue, okay, etc. So let's study characters. Characters are the individuals who participate in the action of the story. They derive the plot and are central to the novel's emotional impact. We have different types of characters. We have a protagonist. Protagonist is the main character around whom the story revolves. Often faces the central conflict. We have another type of character which is antagonist. The character or force that opposes the protagonist, creating conflict. Supporting characters, this is the other type. Secondary characters who play important role in the story but are not the main focus. We have dynamic versus static characters. Dynamic characters undergoes significant development, while static characters remain largely unchanged. Another important element or another important pillar of a novel is a plot. The plot is the sequence of events that make up the story. It is the backbone of the novel, outlining what happens, when, and why. The component of plot, first we have exhibition, which introduces the setting, characters, and basic situation. Okay, we have rising action. Rising action means the rising action develops the conflict and builds tension. We have climax. The climax is the turning point or most intense moment in the story. We have falling action. Falling action means events that follow the climax, leading toward resolution. And finally, we have resolution, which is the conclusion of the story, where conflict are resolved and loose ends are tied up. Okay, this is the plot structure. Here we have the exhibition or the introduction or the beginning of the novel, and here we have the rising action, and we have the climax, the middle of the novel, and here we have the falling action, and here we have the resolution or the end of the novel. Another important point is the setting. The setting refers to the time and the place in which the novel's events occur. It establishes the context for the story and can influence the plot and characters. The component of setting, we have a time and a place, and also we have social and cultural environment. Concerning time, when the story takes place, whether historical period, year, season, time of day. Okay. Place, which means the physical location, country, city, specific environment. We have social and cultural environment, the social, cultural, and political conditions that impact the character and the plot. Next, we have conflict. Conflict is the central element in storytelling, including novels that involves a struggle between opposing forces. It derives the plot and shapes the character's development. Conflict creates tension and engaged readers, making them invested in the outcome of the story. We have different types of conflict. The first one is the external conflict. This type of conflict occur between a character and an outside force. It can be another character, or maybe society, nature, or a supernatural force. Okay. These are the types of external conflict. We have character against character, character versus character. Description, here we have the protagonist faces opposition from another character, or often the antagonist. So character versus character means protagonist and the antagonist. Okay. We have another type of external conflict, which is the character against society, right? Here the protagonist is in conflict with social norms or law or cultural tradition. We have character against nature. The protagonist here struggles to survive or overcome natural forces like weather, animal, or disaster. And we have an example, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. The old man battles the sea and its creature. We have also another struggle, which is character against supernatural. Okay, here the protagonist faces forces that are beyond natural worlds, such as ghosts, monsters, etc. And also we have another type, which is character against technology. Here the protagonist is in conflict with technological forces or advancement. Okay, so often questioning humanity's role in a technological driven world. Okay, we have another important conflict, which is internal conflict. This type of conflict occurs within a character's mind. It involves a struggle with emotion, desire, or belief. Okay, we have types of internal conflict, like character against self, against a person who is against himself, right? The protagonist faces psychological struggle, dealing with personal dilemma, more choices or inner demons. Okay, we have an example about Hamlet in William Shakespeare. Okay, Hamlet grapples with his conscience and doubt about avenging his father's death. We have importance of conflict in literature. It drives the plot. Conflict raises the tension and suspense, that keeps the plot moving forward. It reveals character. How character respond to conflict, reveals their personalities, strength and weakness. It also explores themes. Conflict often embodies the central theme of the story, such as good versus evil, freedom versus oppression, or love versus duty. Engaging readers. Here, conflict engages readers by making them care about the outcome and the character's fate. Conflict is essential to storytelling, as it provides the challenge and obstacles that characters must overcome, leading to growth and resolution by the end of the narrative. We come to an important point, which is the theme or philosophy of life. Theme means the central idea. It is the heart and soul of any work of art. The novelist writes his novels with some specific purpose. He expresses his vision of life, his philosophy of life, through the actions and characters in his novels. Let us take this example from Ernest Hemingway, when he wrote his novel Old Man and the Sea, and presents a nice philosophy of life which is man. Man is not made for defeat. Man can be destroyed but not defeated. And we have another important point of or another element of novel, which is style. Style means the author's unique way of using language, including word choice, sentence structure, and literary devices. Style contributes to the novel's tone and overall impact on the reader. And the last point is point of view. In a novel refers to the perspective from which the story is told. Okay, which the story is told. It determines whose eyes the reader experiences the story through, and can greatly influence how the narrative is perceived. The choice of point of view affects the amount of information the reader has, the connection to the characters, and the overall tone and style of the novel. The perspective from which the story is told. Common point of view include first person, narrated by a character. First person, just like narrated by a character within the story. And we have another type. We have the third person limited, narrator outside the story, with insight into one character's thought. And we have other type, which is the third person narrator, knows all characters' thoughts and events. And this is the last point, or the last pillar of the novel. Thank you.